Which is more damaging? Ghosting the person or letting them know, hey, listen, you just not what I'm looking for right now?
Letting them know.
So you really done? Like, really?
What's going on, everybody? How y'all feel, man? You tuned into another great episode of the Male Translations Podcast, where we break down the difference of what men say and women hear, give men a voice, give women insight on relationships, the men's voice when it comes to relationships. I'm your host, Mr. Male Translations Clarence Brown, certified life coach and relationship coach, and I got another great topic for you guys tonight, man. Listen, I know this is going to be a good one. This is going to be a good one. And so for those of you out there that don't know who I am, as I said, my name is Clarence Brown. I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I'm a host of this very podcast. And what I like to do is help bridge the gap of communication between men and women and ultimately create better relationship experiences for you and dating experiences for you as well. Just improve your overall, experiences as you are out here dating and in relationships. So tonight, I'm gonna use my Dave Chappelle tonight. Right? We're gonna chop it up on what makes a good man undateable. All right, what makes a good man undateable to a quality woman? All right, so if you guys have been following my page, if you have been keeping up with the things that we've been doing, my broadcasts as of late, I covered this very same topic when it came to what makes a good woman undateable, right? What makes a good woman undateable to a quality man? And so, as I said in that live, I wasn't going to leave, the guys out of it, and I wanted to create that balance and basically explain both sides of it. So, of course, I wanted to make sure I discussed the women and what could make a woman undateable, because there are so many women that are within my client base. As I said, about 90% of my client base are women. And so one of the questions I get asked most often is, what could make me undateable? Why is it certain things happen to me within my relationships and in my history? And is it all me or not? And so I covered that. I explained what could make a good woman undateable. And if you didn't see that, you can check that out on my page, Relationship Healing on Facebook. But just to kind of reiterate some of the things we discussed, I want to go over a few of those. And then we're going to talk about what could make a good man undateable to a quality woman. All right. So for those of you ladies that wanted to know what could make what could make a good woman undateable to a quality man, here's a few of the things that we covered in that live broadcast if you didn't catch it. So number one, having too much mouth. All right. What I mean is having too much attitude. Okay. Being too reactive without clarity. Also saying irreversible statements out of anger. As Kevin Hart would put it, you see red, ladies. You just see red, and there is no threshold. There is no line that separates fair from unfair, reasonable from unreasonable, and ultimately you step over the line, right? And that could be one thing that makes a good woman who is willing to treat her man in a certain fashion, do for him, be compassionate, be of service, be cooperative with him. What could make her undateable to him, right? Number two was having too much baggage. Okay, when we talk about that, what we were covering was undisciplined children, right? That was one of the baggage areas where men would say, "Hey, this could make it hard for me, dog. Clarence, I mean, I like her, but then once we started to vibe and mesh and connect, then I met her children, and then all of a sudden it was just like it was a different story at that point, right?" Then number three, or actually within that same habit, too much baggage, it was disruptive and disrespectful family members or co-parents. Now, a lot of our relationships have co-parents that may not be in the same household. And with that being said, as you look to venture to find somebody that fits you more closely, that person on the outside looking in becomes a nuisance to your relationships or starts to turn on you because they feel like they see you moving on to greener pastures, right? And all of those things being said could make a person become toxic within the new relationship you're trying to build, because they're either saying, hey, I don't like this person, where you're going to have to find someone else. I don't care how much y'all vibe. I don't care what y'all connection is. I don't feel safe with this person around my children, or I don't like the certain qualities of this individual, so therefore I don't approve of your relationship. And they step in. They start to do things that disrupt what you have going on. And that is one way that can make a woman undateable to a quality man. Also, unhealed wounds from the past. This all falls within having too much baggage, where now the new man has to pay the toll that the old guy has set for relationships with this woman here. Because ladies, a lot of the times you place blame on the new guy for situations that you experienced in your past, and therefore he has to rectify your mind state, heal you from all the past wounds that you have had in past situations. And number 3, unrealistic views of men in relationships. We talked about entitled mindset because of a woman's beauty or her body. You guys see right now in October, they're going to be shutting down sexually explicit content on OnlyFans. And this is where a lot of women started to get a swole head. Used to get a big head. My mom used to call you the swole head. Because you start to recognize, hey, I'm getting paid to show my body, or because I'm a beautiful woman who has nice curves, whatever the case may be, then I'm entitled to a certain amount of, respect, or a certain amount of attention, or just overall resources from a man, or just the world at large, because you are beautiful or because you have a nice body. The second part of that was no real personal definition of love. And what that means is that you have unrealistic expectations of men in relationships because you don't really know what love is and what it should look like. And so you kind of are all over the place. These 3 areas are areas where a woman can make herself undateable to a quality man. All right. So I just wanted to cover that real quick. If you really want to get in more detail, you can find that video on Relationship Healing page, whether that be on YouTube or here on Facebook. But what I want to touch on tonight is the fellas, because like I said, I wanted to bring balance to this topic, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't just cover it for women, but also covered it for men. And I know as a man, there are men that say, oh, are you pandering to the women? Which is why I did the topic for what makes a woman undateable to a quality man first, because I already know how, certain people are when it comes to, if you're speaking to the other opposite side just in the same fashion as you are speaking to them. So I know, ladies, it might have been tough for some of you to hear some of the things that make a woman undateable, because you may feel that, hey, there's things that makes a man undateable. So why are you singling us out as if we're the problem? Not wanting to do that, but at the same time wanting to really, truly share the honest truth of men when it comes to what they feel like could make a woman undateable, even if she has qualities that could make a relationship last and ultimately still see marriage in the near future, right? So now I'm turning the page, and now I'm also going to talk about the men. So tonight I'm going to talk about, ladies, what makes a man undateable to a quality woman. All right, so there's a lot of men out there that will say, hey, man, listen, I know the value I have as a man. I know the quality that I bring to a woman's life, and I know that I have options as well. So a lot of men feel like they have the upper hand or the advantage when it comes to relationships. And sometimes that could be good news for somebody, or it could be bad news for somebody else, because that very same man could feel like, well, I don't have to do as much to succeed in relationships or have a woman, a woman's attention or hold on to her because, hey, I'm a great guy. Look at me. I'm dressed nice. I have a job. I have certain things and qualities that bring stability to a woman's life. And so because of my resource bank and everything that I'm bringing to the table, that makes it to where, hey, I should expect for a woman to just fall in line, fall in place, do certain things, right? And so with that being said, for that very same guy that may feel like, hey, you know what, I have a lot of things going on right now. What are you, woman, what are you bringing to the table? These are some of the things. I have 5 things here that I feel like for that very same guy who's got his stuff together, who's got himself situated, and now is out on the dating market looking for somebody who can enhance his life and his overall benefit of life. What can make him undateable? What can make him to be unattractive to a quality woman, right? So we're going to discuss that tonight. What I need real quick before we get on into it, because I know y'all ladies probably want to hear what I got to say, I need you to hit that like button for the algorithm, and I also need you to hit that share button as well, right? That really would be a great service to your boy before we get right on into it. Hit that like button for the algorithm, especially on YouTube, to get more reach. We need to expand these topics. I know you got family, friends, people in your life that could most likely benefit from hearing about this topic or this subject matter. So I need you to show your love if you got love for the Male Translations Podcast, the Relationship Healing Movement. What I need you to do is hit that like, and also hit that share button. All right, it's gonna mean a lot to me. It's gonna mean a lot to this post. All right. So let's get right on into it, right? So what could make a good man undateable? All right. So again, I got 5 of these things. I'm gonna start with number 1. Okay. So the first thing out of 5, and this is not the top 5 in the world, this is my 5. So if there's things I miss or things that you feel like should have been included in this subject, this discussion, hit that comment section. Let the world know how you feel about it. Hey, I experienced this, Clarence, and you didn't cover this part, but I know this could make a good man undateable because I had a guy, he was doing things and, he was doing some things, making some moves and moving and shaking, but all of a sudden these certain things made it very hard for me to respect him, or very hard for me to date him. So whatever that is, put that in the comment section right now. I want to hear it. So let me get back on the YouTube real quick because I want to make sure I'm able to see what y'all got going on. I know y'all going to have some beef, some things to say, some things that you have experienced. All of that is great. All of that is great. So now let's actually chop it up and see what's going on out here in these YouTube and Facebook streets. What makes a good man undateable? Let's talk about it. Number 1. All right. No stable income source could make a good man undateable to a woman, a quality woman. Listen, there is a difference, guys. I know everybody likes to put a broad label and categorize both men and women in a certain fashion. Even though we know there's so many people that don't fit the titles, don't fit the labels, we still do that. We stereotype because that helps us to be able to identify who falls in line with certain idealisms and who falls in line with certain mentalities, right? But at the same time, sometimes we overdo it, and it becomes to where we're putting everybody in the same group when they don't fit that title, where they don't actually deserve it. But no stable income source could very well make a man who is a quality guy undateable. When I say quality, what do I mean? I mean that actually, his morals, his values, how he sees life, how he treats a woman, those things are not compromised. Those things, he's not actually, making you feel insecure about it. But what he still lacks is the fact that he's not able to provide stable income. Right. And so what happens is, I remember back in the day, we're in Florida, right? Tampa, Florida. It was really big back in the day where they had the tax scams, right? The drops, they called them, right? Depending on where you live, and I don't know where y'all are. Put that in the comment section. Let me know where y'all are in the world. But at that time, it was real heavy. It was a real big thing where people was making money, man. I even had some partners. I'm not going to say no names. I don't know if the Fed's watching. But I used to see like, dang, bro, like, man, like, he's like, yeah, man, I'm hitting, man. I just put this information in, da-da-da-da-da. I got one card, a TurboTax card coming in with $5,000, another one with $6,000, another one with $8,000, right? And it would be a daily thing to where it was almost like a job where it literally spend time trying to figure out ways to get over on the system and dupe the system to be able to get a source of income. But what? We know that won't last. We know that that's not something that actually will stand the test of time, because at some point you either going to have to quit and pivot and use that income to put into something else that may be more stable and more long lasting, or your ass going to get caught. That's it. You're just going to get caught. Police going to come down on you, crack down on you. And that's exactly what happened, because once something becomes successful, everybody jumps in that boat to where it just sinks because of the weight. Right? We've all seen it where a person or people start to see, oh man, you see everybody. I mean, you right now, y'all see this crate challenge. People out here losing their life, it seems like, right? People like the life insurance people don't want to even come to the hood because you see all these folk out here doing this crate challenge, falling on crates, breaking ribs, scarring their back, knocking their jaw loose, knocking teeth out, all kind of stuff for what? For $100? $150, maybe $200, because ain't nobody putting no stacks out there like that. Ain't nobody betting $1,000 on somebody to walk on crates and make it to the other side. Like, no. So what do you like? An unstable source of income, not able to provide stable income sources. So when I talk about the drops, when I talk about the tax scams, we know right now what's popping right now. So it's a three-letter word, right? PPE. PPE loans right now is real big in the neighborhood. You smell me? So right now people are venturing, hey man, help me get my $20,000. Help me get my $20,000, right? And the same people that's doing that, they're charging $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 just to get you 20 grand, which going to end up being 14.5 or 15 grand, whatever the case, depending on what you pay. But that money got to be paid back. A lot of y'all don't even got businesses. A lot of y'all just setting up stuff just to get access to the 20 grand and thinking that, okay, I'm balling now. I'm good. I'm straight. Watch, look at me. I'm running it up. But that still makes you undateable to a quality woman because that's not a stable income source. Doesn't mean that determines your character, but that also in some ways it does, because it seems like you out here just, let me come here. But anyway, the point is that not having a stable source of income is going to make you undateable to a quality woman. Now, we do know that there are some women that favor a guy who's, making some moves that may not be legitimate, that may be illegal, right? So then we turn the page, we talk about the PPE scam. For a lot of y'all out there, it's illegal because y'all actually not having no actual businesses. Y'all not actually doing business ventures, transactions, and commerce, and you're not doing that. You're just actually finessing the system so you can get your cash, right? And the same thing now is to be said for someone who is hustling, a guy who may be in the drug game, might be, selling a thing or two, doing, got his little stuff that he moving, right? But that's not going to be something you can rely upon. If you have children, that's definitely something that's going to make you feel like at any moment that person can be taken away from you and your children, and now they're doing a stint and a bid. Like these type of things, for a quality woman, it's like, listen, that's not going to work for me because ultimately you're going to be here today, going tomorrow. Because there's so much that can happen when you are in a illegitimate space doing something that's illegal, right? Now, here's the thing, right? There's two type of individuals now. There are employees and there are entrepreneurs, right? No beef on either side. I am both. So I don't have much judgment on either side. But understand that if you are working for somebody else, but yet you're not able to maintain stable employment, that's a problem. Because what happens a lot, ladies, I ain't gonna lie, sometimes you may meet a person and they're stable in that job. Then all of a sudden, 6 months down the line, when you start to really develop feelings for that person, then all of a sudden now they fall off. There is no real long-term commitment, but they expect you to still hold on to them long-term, which, again, I respect if you recognize that person is putting the work in and the effort in to continue to have stable employment. So it doesn't matter if a person loses their job. Things happen every day where people laid off in 2020 and they had, there was nothing that they can do about it. So I'm not going to say, hey, he loses his job, you need to get out. No, I'm not going to say that because I recognize it's a case-by-case basis and all circumstances aren't the same. But what I will say is that for a person who takes that loss and then, just rest on their laurels and actually just, complacent and actually is now, hey man, once I finish this game of 2K, then I'll put in a couple of applications. That's when you go into where you come home, I'm back on 2K and you're like, well, it doesn't look like you moved any since I left. And like, well, I had made a couple phone calls. I ain't get nobody. They ain't called me back. So I'm just waiting on them to call me back and play this 2K till somebody called me like that. What? No, that could make a good man undateable, which is why, again, like I said, it doesn't mean that, you won't take care of your lady, treat her like a queen, and do things that make her feel considered and valued. But at the same time, bro, if you ain't got no stable employment, that's a problem, girl. Even me as a man, I'm like, bro, like if you was my dog, I'll be like, man, what we doing? Like, so you just chilling? You just chilling, huh? Okay. I mean, I ain't gonna judge you, but bro, you need to get off your ass and do something, man. Listen, you got kids out here. You got a wife. You got a woman. You know what I mean? But this is something, and in my 5 reasons is the top reason on my list of what can make a man undateable to a quality woman. No stable income source. All right. And if y'all vibing with that, y'all feel how I feel, if y'all think that that's good, solid ground right there, then let me know. If that's trash or cast, like I said, in my opinion, you ain't got no stable income. It's going to be hard to last with you, bro. Period. Because she going to be taking care. She's going to be responsible for everything. Okay? So moving right along, right? Here's another thing that makes a good man undateable. Okay? I've seen this. I've seen men who are in relationships and even marriages, but yet still exhibit this in a lot of ways toxic quality, right? And it is having a king of the castle mentality without earning it, right? A king of the castle mentality without earning it. Okay, I'm going to say it one more time for those in the back. Having a king of the castle mentality without earning it can make a good man undateable. Okay, what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is we have a title for this. It starts with an N when it comes to relationships, and it's called a narcissist. Okay, a lot of the times where a person has, especially men, I've seen men who feel like because I'm a man, bow down, submit, everything should fall as I say. Okay, well, hey, bring me my grape, bring me my grapes, bring me my piece of watermelon, bring me my, make sure I'm taken care of. And that to me sounds like a freeloader. That to me sounds like somebody who is a finesser. That sounds to me like somebody who is just taking advantage of the situation. And ultimately that falls in different areas. Being a freeloader doesn't just mean that you sit on the couch. It also could mean that you feel like you should be catered to because you're a man. I say that knowing that I already covered what makes a good woman undateable. Okay, so we're not even going, we passed that at this point. So if you're a man out there feel like, oh man, here he go again, I don't even want to hear this, I'm like, come on man, da, da, da. Well, recognize that I feel like you got to be able to respect it, bro, because I'm covering both sides. But right now we talking about the men. You want to hear it? Click off. That simple. All right, but I'm gonna keep moving. That king of the castle mentality without earning it, that's unfair because you have done nothing to earn the title of someone to be submitted to, someone to be followed, someone to be listened to, someone to be respected within the household, right? You can't be the head of the household if you're not doing the things that show leadership, that show that you are in a position of respect between those that are within the household below you in the totem pole, right? Not to mean that nobody value, but if you are the head of the household, everything starts from the head, right? You cut off the head area, but everything dies, right? Which is why it makes so many women turned off, should I say, because it's like, hey, listen, well, just because you have broad shoulders and you might have six-pack abs and you look nice and you smell good, you still undateable because in your mind you feel like I should just bow down to you and not have any say of my own or any rights to speak or any ability to delegate what I feel needs to be done within the household because now you're here, right? And this also breeds resentment, especially when it's early in a relationship. This is why so many men that feel like, oh man, look at me, I got options, it don't matter. It's like, yeah, y'all gonna be single too. Because why? You come in with this king of the castle mentality without earning it. Things that women do can very well turn off a man and make it to where she becomes undateable and she ends up single for a lifetime or for a long period of time until she makes changes on those things. This is an area where men can find themselves very much single, thinking that they winning because you hitting and you getting all these women. And hey, you know what? If you come down to it, you know how to talk to a woman, you know how to get a woman's attention. But at the same time, you still gonna be a loner. Because it's not just the fact that, there ain't no women out there to be found. It's because your mentality, it's because how you move, it's how you have expectations over women when you haven't earned any respect. Like, as a man, I tell you to your face, bro, I can't respect it. I don't bro, it don't matter how you feel about it, we can handle it how we gonna handle it. But at the same time, I'm gonna be me, I'm gonna say how I feel. And if I don't respect it, I'll let you know, bro, I can't even respect it. I feel it. I understand where you're coming from, bro. Mad or not, it is what it is. Right? Because at the end of the day, when you have unrealistic expectations of women, then you will find yourself as a man having somebody that just can't seem to get on your page, can't get on your program because why? You're not earning your position. Anytime you go to your job, it's an agreement. You work 40 hours and you bring in, you show a certain quality to be able to bring some value to the company in order to actually complete a specific job title or job duties. That's the agreement. So you say you can fulfill these job requirements and duties, and you can do it for 40 hours a week or more. And their agreement is they're going to pay you X amount of dollars for you to be able to do that, right? You're earning it. So the same thing goes with a relationship where, hey, you come in and say, hey, I'm able to fulfill X amount of husband qualities and duties and requirements, And so therefore, the agreement is she does X, Y, and Z for you on her end because of the benefit you're bringing to her life and that companionship combined with that. So you're earning it as well. No different than she has an agreement that she also has with you that says, hey, as a woman, I'm going to fulfill certain areas and benefits of your life and requirements that need to be taken care of within your life. As an agreement, you uphold your end of the bargain by being a good leader. You have vision over the family. You have provision for us. You provide for us. You protect us. And you make sure that we're good in any way possible. That's the agreement. So if you aren't able to do that, then don't think that you're going to come in with this king of the castle bravado and sticking your chest out. And what you said, you a woman, you need to bow down to a man. You need to respect what I'm saying because I'm the man. No, if you're not giving a woman reason to respect what you got to say, don't expect her to respect it just because you're a man. She got brothers, she got uncles, she got people that's in her life too that can protect her and be in opposition to what you're saying just because don't think that, hey, that she has no support. This is what happens a lot with those men that are narcissists. They come in thinking that you should just bow down and submit to me and do what I say, not recognizing that, hey, she has support as well. There's people in her life that'll be able to die, that'll be willing to die for her, just like you feel like you finna, you can't verbally abuse her, you can't physically abuse her and think that there are going to be any penalties or repercussions to that just because you feel like, nah, I'm a man, I come in and now because I'm a man, you submit to my power, my strength, my word. Listen. Let one of my sisters or nieces or something talking about, hey man, listen, he coming down on me. He talking to me like this. He treat me like this, and he expect me to just take it. Man, listen, I'm coming with Calgary, for real. So let's move on. That's number 2, right? And so again, these are 5 things. Again, if you have something that you feel like is something that can be added to this discussion, please put it in the comment section. I would love to hear it because it's not just about my perspective, but at the end of the day, when we have these discussions about relationships, we got to be honest. We got to be real. We got to be transparent. And on both sides, there are certain things that take place that make relationships hard to manifest and make marriage hard to attain as a goal in the relationship because we're not recognizing some of the things that we're doing, right? And as a man, I've been in some of these categories, and I've seen it in so many times when I'm counseling two individuals as a couple and trying to see where they can come to common ground and continue to move forward. So as we talked about, recap, number 1, no stable income source. Number 2, king of the castle mentality without earning it first. All right, so let's move on to number 3. Okay, what makes a good man undateable? Selfishness. Selfishness is a big key and a big thing as to why certain men who are quality guys can find themselves be undateable because all of a sudden this selfishness starts to appear. It starts to blossom. It starts to show its ugly head within a relationship because why? What it displays is that it's all about you. Anytime she asks you something, it's all about what you getting out of it. Why should you do it? How does it affect your life? All of these things show selfishness that show that, hey, a long-term relationship with this person, with this man, is not going to be good. It's not going to be beneficial. Why? Because even when it comes down to the children, it's almost like, I remember Nas said in the song, man, he was like, you buying weed but won't take care of your kids. That's selfishness, right? You rather buy money on the PS5, but yet you don't let the kids play it because you say you bought it for you. You'll buy them one later. When you get another $500 of just free pocket money to spend, then you'll buy one for them. But yet you're gonna keep it in the room and play the game. Man, bro, come on, bro, like. And it might sound funny, but I've seen these things. I've heard these things. And I'm like, bro, come on, man. The kids want to play the game. Now they got to wait for you to come home and ask for you to pass the sticks. Like, this is nuts, man. This is a PS5. You a grown man. Let them kids have that, right? But again, it's all about what things benefit you. It's all about how things impact you. And anything that is to be done, any errands that need to be run, any things that may not be on your schedule that may come as an impromptu mission, right? All of these things now God, I can't. Every time I be like, you see that? Like, you got all of this, you beatboxing like Dougie Fresh, like, come on, man, who wants that, right? And I'm not going to lie, this is an area for me that like I say, when I say that I've been in some of these areas, this is one thing that at one point was almost making me undateable. And I told y'all the story time. I told y'all the story about how when I was dating my wife, I went to go get food. I brought it home. She was at the house. And, back then we were dating. And she was like, well, why didn't, did you get me anything? I'm like, no, why would I do that? I had no idea of how selfish I looked. And it was funny, when she asked me, she's like, well, you couldn't have just called me and just see if I needed anything. Maybe I might not have wanted something from this place or whatever the case, but it would have just been nice to feel like I was also considered in the decision to get something to eat. And in my mind, I was like, this is nuts. Why would I want to pay for two people? Like, you see what I'm saying? Immature mindset. But yet at the time, I wasn't able to see my flaws and my faults in this area. And it was so funny. One of my closest road dogs, man, shout out to Bobby OG, right? He told me, he said, bro, Cleese, you selfish as hell. You selfish, bro. He told me this, right? And it was so funny because we had a conversation, we just chopping it up, and he told me this, and this was about a week prior to my wife telling me that I was selfish. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? If my wife were the only person who told me this, it might have been harder for me to receive it, absorb it, and accept it. But since one of my closest road dogs just told me this a week prior, and then now you telling me this also, it's like, well, I guess I am selfish. Because everybody ain't lying, and my dog ain't gonna tell me nothing but the truth. I know it. So it's an area, guys, and ladies, where a man can find himself being undateable because just something like being selfish and not considering the person you with and thinking of them as well and trying to make sure that you're compromising and doing things that can benefit them and help them out is a big problem. It doesn't matter, how crispy your lineup is. It doesn't matter how much designer you wearing. It doesn't matter how much money you got in your pocket. It doesn't matter, how many women you're able to attract because you're a handsome guy or maybe you got a nice build to yourself. Like, all of those things won't matter because the selfishness is going to poison everything that you felt like that you put in place. Everything that you bring to the table, hey, it's almost like having a table with 3 legs. If them 3 legs ain't able to be in a tripod fashion, come on, you already know it's falling off. And so, again, this is one of the areas, self-grandizing. This is a selfish area where a man just looking for what benefits him, what things that are going on around him are of benefit to him. And if it's not affecting him in a positive way, he doesn't want to engage. He doesn't want to assist. He doesn't want to be involved. You understand? And so, fellas, even if that's not your testimony, I'm sure you got one partner or two that falls in this category. It was like, man, this man here, you listen, he got a law degree, and man, he got his firm, and he doing well, but man, that boy's selfish. And we know it. And that doesn't mean we're not going to befriend you, but at the same time, it's certain things like this that can really make a man be undateable to a quality woman. All right? So let's move right along, right? So we done covered 3 things. If y'all getting something out of this, let me know. Now, if this is good information, or you're enjoying this discussion, or these things, these top 5 things that make a good man undateable, let me know. Like this post, put a like up, like I say, for the algorithm, especially on YouTube, and then also share this post if you can, especially on Facebook. All right, so we're moving on. We've got 2 left. I wonder what they are. Do y'all think y'all already know what they are? We talked about selfishness. We talked about being the king of the castle without earning it. We talked about no stable income. In my opinion, those are 3 special, big factors when it comes to what makes a man undateable. But we got 2 more within this 5. I wonder if you know what they are. All right? But I'm going to move right on along so I can get on out your way. I understand y'all got things to do. What makes a good man undateable to a quality woman? Selfishness in the bedroom. All right. Now, we talked about selfishness overall, but especially in the bedroom. And if y'all out here, if y'all ain't 18, 21 old, man, y'all might want to click off right now. Also, if you are, a person in ministry, or if you're somebody just feel like, hey, when you start to talk about sex, it's not something that you really want to hear about, then I would give you the opportunity to put your church finger up and exit this discussion at this point. All right. You can click off, and I ain't tripping. I'm going to still do this regardless, with or without you, but I love to see y'all involved, and I love to see y'all be a part of the broadcast and comment and interact. But what I will say is this area right here is something that makes a good man undateable, period. Because if you are selfish in the bedroom, you are selfish in the bedroom, fellas, it's something that's really going to show, and it's also going to turn a woman off because over time, it like I said, it don't matter how handsome you are, how much designer you wearing, how much cash you got in your bank account, how much cologne you drenching yourself in, right? It won't matter because what happens is it's all about a get yours and that's it mentality. Once I get off, once I get mine, she better get her before I get mine. Shoot, I ain't, see what I'm saying? That whole mentality is something that is going to make you undateable. It's going to make you, it's going to have her be turned off to you. Because now in that area, that's a huge area when it comes to making a lifetime commitment to somebody. That's something that you're going to have to deal with in terms of knowing that as a woman, you're going to be dissatisfied for a lifetime if you make that commitment to this man, if y'all can't rectify that, right? And here's the thing. It doesn't mean as a man you have to be so endowed. You have to be, the biggest on the block, pushing 9 inches, 12 inches. Like, that's not it. But what it is that even with whatever you working with, that's your business. I'm not getting into that. But whatever that is, there's ways for you to still please your woman because, of course, in my opinion, it's all about consideration, right? I used to be a waiter back in the day. I used to work at a couple restaurants. There's a place down here in Florida called First Watch. It's kind of a breakfast brunch spot, right? Worked at Ruby Tuesdays, worked at Olive Garden, and all those jobs, I was a waiter, right? Server, waiter, right? And I used to make money. Boy, I used to make so much cash just waiting tables because to me it was so simple. The only thing you have to be a great waiter is you have to have good memory and you have to be considerate, right? What that means is that, hey, if I see your glass half empty, I'm going to just bring you another drink, even if the second drink you don't even touch. Why? Because in my mind, just the fact that me bringing you that drink made it to where you didn't have to wait on me for a drink, even though you may not even drink the first drink all the way down, right? But things like that, where, example, I bring you napkins before you ask about them. Why? First of all, I'm not even paying for this extra soda I just brought you, so it don't matter if I bring you two just cause. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it ain't coming out of my bank. It ain't coming out of my money, right? I would bring you those extra napkins before you ask, hey, can you bring us some napkins? Because why? I already know you're probably going to be needing some at some point, but yet before you even have to ask, I've considered your needs. Now, let's juxtapose that. Let's compare that to being selfish in the bedroom. If you are not considerate of her needs, then her needs aren't going to be met and fulfilled, and ultimately that's going to give you a bad review, a bad rating. And as a man, this is something that no man should really want, right? I don't know any of the guys that I've come up with that say, hey, man, it don't matter what she think, right? In some cases, it depended on what we thought of her. But overall, it didn't matter if you were in a relationship, if you were dating, if y'all were just talking. It was always handled with a level of pride, not to just say, hey, man, I knocked it out of the park. But at the same time, I know she's going to be raving in reviews to people in her circle. And it's just how it works, right? No matter what, whether it be positive or negative of a sexual experience, somebody going to find out about it, okay? So it was something that as a man, we took pride in to say, hey, man, listen, I already know, she good, we good, right? And you look at her and you're like, oh, yeah, he did, he all right, he did his thing, you know what I'm saying? And so that when you be like, okay, well, cool. But overall, if you are selfish in the bedroom, man, you're going to become undateable because you have a get mine and that's it. Once I'm done, she better get hers before I get mine. Like, come on, bro, take more pride in what you, in that area of your relationship, right? And the second part is that you don't take time to explore her. Come on now. And so when it comes to, I've even heard horror stories of women that felt like, hey, man, he get back there, he think he killing it. He killing it, right, girl? I got it. And she like, no, you're not. You're not. Right? And his mind, I'm giving her all she's got, Captain, listen. And she like, man, listen, this ain't about nothing. Why? Because you haven't taken the time to explore her. You haven't taken the time to say, okay, well, what do I need to do to make sure that she reaches her sexual peak? What do I need to do to make sure that she also is having an orgasm and reaching that point sexually in the same way that I'm going to do regardless. Because as a man, it don't matter. You just, you most likely 99% of the time you gonna have your climax. And there's plenty of times where women feel like, well, there weren't things done for me to reach my climax, but yet it seems like he always reach his, right? A good man, good quality man, high character, high values, high morals, a guy that seems to be someone to be respected and followed and heard. But yet when it comes to this area, it's all about you. It's all about what it is that you got to get, off your chest, and whatever pressure you feel like you need to exert to make sure that you now feel calm, comfortable, and cool, calm, and collected. Well, the same thing applies to your lady. So in my opinion, all that matters is you having consideration of her. And so if you don't tackle this area and you don't actually think that it's important or it's valuable, then it's going to make it hard for you to have a woman see you be dateable long term, because in that area you're going to be losing points, bro. Let me see. Undateable, multiple kids, no career, no home, felonies, liar, inconsiderate. Yeah, those definitely could fall within these. Like I said, I'm just talking about 5. I only have a limited time frame. I don't want to be here 5-6 hours just going over this. And I know y'all have things to do, but I want to give y'all something that you can chew on and eat on, some food for you to eat until the next time we meet, right? And so Nicholas is an LGBO. Okay, well, anyway, regardless, got some comments that was saying, hey, making a man undateable if he has multiple kids. I know a lot of women that say, man, look, he already got 5 kids. I'm not trying to be baby mama number 6, or I'm not trying to be the woman with the 6th child. Now he can't even support my baby and do things for him because he's spread out so thin. That could definitely be it. Also said no career. That falls in line with what I said. Number 1 was no stable income source, no home. Okay, now I don't know if that means if he has to have a house or not, but I will say, for some that may make it to where if he ain't got no place to stay, if he living with his mama, or he roommating it with his homeboy, and it's like, dog, you 40 right now. Like, come on now. Like, when are you going to, step out and walk on your own 2 feet, stand on your own 2? Right, things like that, where I definitely can understand when he says no home, that can make a man undateable, because at some point, like if you in your late teens, early 20s, and maybe you trying to figure it out, you still going to school and you got a roommate and things like that, but yet y'all still have a place. It may be clean, it might not, it don't have to be the largest place, it don't have to be, you would hope to have it in a decent neighborhood, but sometimes as long as I can get from my car to your door and your door to my car, and I ain't got to be dodging bullets and all of that, or have to talk through some gang members and all, like, okay, fine. But as long as you have a place to stay that you can call your own, that you have your own key, can get in and out on your own without having to have somebody give you consent to when you can stay out, or you gotta, hey man, can you unlock the door for me, like that? Come on now, that you especially when you're above a certain age. If you I want to say, if you 26, 27 and older, now it's just me, 26, 27 and older, at that point, bro, like I feel like you need to be able to have your own place to stay, okay? Unless you have circumstances where you have a plan. There's that's an exception to the rule. You have a plan. You say, hey man, listen, I'm saving my chips. I'm still at my mama's house, but at the same time, it's not like I'm not free to do as I please to a certain extent. But yet, I'm going to make sure I'm leaving in a position where I'm able to excel, because I'm not just jumping out just to jump out. Right? Understand that. It might not work for everybody, but I can understand that. Also, it said felonies, a liar, and inconsiderate. Those are also additional things that can make a good man undateable. Right? But what I was talking about is the selfishness in the bedroom as number 4, and that could make a good man undateable, because again, when you hear stories from women and they come back saying, "Hey man, this part right here just ain't it," right? I mean, I'm trying to roll with them, but this part right here, I needed to be better. I needed to be, more. I needed to be longer. I needed to be, when I'm talking about the time frame, I don't need, you know what I mean? So again, it's that whole thing of just thinking about yourself, not exploring her needs and her desires when it comes to sexual satisfaction, and all of those things make, because we grown, okay, so we can talk about this. This could make you undateable. It don't matter who you are as a man. You could be, I don't know. I guess some women may be able to make a compromise depending on how much money you got. But at the same time, the point is, overall, for regular folks out here, this is something that's gonna get in the way of your tenure when it comes to you two being together and moving forward together, right? And the last of 5, okay, and I don't know, I didn't see any other comments other than that to say that somebody feels like should be included, but I do think this is included in what make a good man undateable to a quality woman, all right? And we hear a lot about it right now. We hear a lot of pushback from men and ultimately men without children. But number 5, if her children are a turnoff to you, if her kids are a turnoff to you, that will definitely make you undateable to a quality woman. All right. Now, we know, especially in the black community, a large percentage of children are born out of wedlock, meaning without mom and dad, husband and wife, right? Took mom and dad to make them, but at the end of the day, as a family, there isn't that 2-parent dynamic. And ultimately what happens is the child is going to be with the woman. So now as 2 individuals who make a child separate and go their separate ways, the man is looking for someone who fits him best. The woman may look for someone who fits her best. And in that pursuit, okay, what happens is a lot of the new guys, a lot of the guys that are especially right now in this day and age, are saying to themselves, I don't want a woman who have kids that aren't my own. I don't want a woman who has children. If I don't have children, then I'm looking for a woman who doesn't have children. That sounds just like the women who says, I want a man who make $100,000 or more, knowing that small percentage of men makes it harder for you to find that type of guy, knowing that so many people are competing, so many women are competing for that type of man. So the same can be said for the fellas that says, hey, I want a woman who don't have any kids. Then what you saying is, I want a woman who falls in this small percentage of women that now it makes it harder for me to find her because there's so many men that are competing for this woman's attention, right? But at the same time, to me, I think this is a huge problem because if she has her children in order and structured and disciplined, then that should be no problem to you as a man coming into her life just because she has those children, all right? And it's a turnoff to a lot of women when a man comes in, and what happens is you normally will date for a while before you meet her children because she wants to feel safe and comfortable with your character and who you are and the things that you stand for, and make sure that they're in line with what she stands for before she decides to take it to another level of allowing you to meet her children. And so when now you meet her children, she wants to see how you connect with them. She wants to see how you guys interact. And if every time you interact with them, you seem disinterested, you seem disconnected, you seem uninvolved and don't want to really have anything to do with them, then that's going to be a turnoff to her, because that has nothing to do with who you are. But at the same time, it's a very big deal when it comes to you two moving forward, because her kids are going to be there. Her children are going to be in her life. So it's almost like you giving her an ultimatum by you saying, well, man, I don't know, man. I mean, just sometimes your son, well, hey, either you're going to help me do something about it and connect with my son in an effort to make things better, or you're just going to say, man, your son, man, he get on my nerve, and it's going to be like, okay, cool. Go on about your day, because my children are going to be here. My children love me, and I love my children. And ultimately, just off of your temperament, your disposition, and your disinterest in my children, you already turned me off, bro. You was nice. You were good. You were handsome. You smelled nice. You looked good. You looked like, you had things in place and in a stable fashion to where that brought a lot of value to what could potentially be long term. But ultimately, there isn't going to be any long term without you accepting the fact that I have children. And this is what women have said for those men who see her children as a turnoff. And so, yeah, there's a lot of guys right now that are single and that feel like, hey, well, shoot, you know what? I don't want no woman with kids. Woman got kids, that's already bad enough. They ain't my kids. Why should I care? They ain't no value to me. How is it that you are going to be able to exist with a woman when you already are basically pushing her kids to the side because you see no benefit in having them around? You see no value in them, and ultimately it's like if she has children, she's already disqualified from a relationship or potential marriage, right? And so with that being said, this is one of the major keys, one of my top 5 when it comes to 5 reasons what make a man undateable to a quality woman, right? And so that part right there, like I said, I ain't see nobody talk about it, but for me, I think that that's a huge thing that will poison anything that's positive that you two are trying to build, because over time, that is going to rear its ugly head. You're going to treat them unfairly. You're going to be disciplining them too heavily, right? You're going to be in a mentality where it's like, well, I don't even want to do for them because what? Let's say you have your own children. Then what is the problem? How is it that you have your own children, but yet when it comes to children within this new household, you feel like, man, listen, they ain't my responsibility. I got my own kids I need to pay for. I got my own kids I need to take care of, right? I'm not going to do things for your child because, I got to make sure they good. And they're not even in your same household. Doesn't mean you don't have love for them, but yet at the same time, you have to look within your 4 walls first. And even though you may have children outside of that household, if you decide that you want to be a fixture within this new household and within this new life with this new woman, understand that you're going to have to connect with those children as well and treat them just like your own, even if they aren't your own. And so again, good man, resources in the bank, high morals, high standards, high quality, right? You doing your thing, you have your head on straight, but if this area is a turnoff to you, it's going to make you undateable. That's a fact. And I know what I'm talking about. That's a fact. And so to a woman who feels like, hey, I'm looking for somebody that now has to accept not only myself, but the full package of myself and my children or my child, like, even if you don't connect with him right off the bat, if you want to be in her life, you got to understand that you're going to have to find a way to connect with her child, whether it be male, a young man or a young lady. And here's the thing that I'm going to throw out that can help you, right? Because what happens is if you can get your lady on board with helping you connect with the children, that's going to help and yield you great dividends, because most of the time the children are basing their affinity for you or their connection to you based upon their mom and how she looks at you and respects you, right? But at the same time, there are situations where that's not the case. But what you need to do, and ladies, you have to be open to it, is understand that if this man wants to really be a part of a family and wants to connect with you and wants to be with you long term, that you have to do what you have to do to make it easy on him to build a connection with your children. Because it can't be you on the sideline refereeing and just letting them figure it out. Like, no, that's not going to work. For a man, that's going to be a turnoff for him. Because and a lot of ladies, y'all don't even recognize it. Y'all think it's, well, go on then. And it's like, listen, it didn't even have to be like that. You could have actually worked it out, even though at the moment he had discontentment with your children at the moment. So if you are part of the progress and the process of building a connection with your children and this man and your children, then that's going to make it better all around, because it's not how you start, it's how you finish. It's a lot of situations where the children may not be feeling the guy because he's the new person coming in the house. Who is him? Who is he? What is he doing here? Why he all up on you? Why you laid all up on him? Like, what is this? Right? And they start to turn on him because they're like, man, listen, you ain't like, well, how you supposed to just take you just taking our mama? It seems like, right? But if you are able to say, hey, man, listen, I love your mom. You know what? Like, I don't know, we don't know each other that well, but I'd like to be able to build a connection with you, man, a friendship or something, or some type of respect where you can understand how I feel about your mom and how I feel about what can be created between us two and all of us as a household and as a potential family. And so once those things are heard, that helps you. But yet, ladies, I want you to recognize you play a big role in this, because if you are just on the sideline saying, well, Mr. Clarence, you're just going to have to talk to Mr. Clarence, like, What if he doesn't know me like that? What if he, and this is what guys say, what if he's, just not feeling me like that, and no matter what I do, it seems to not break ground because, of course, you not stepping in and saying, hey, and you don't have, it's not one of those things, ladies, where you force it, where you say, you just gonna listen to him. He gonna tell y'all what to do. If y'all don't do what he say, like, that's not gonna make them like him. But at the same time, if you can interject yourself and say, hey, why is it that, you don't like him? What is it that he does? Let's talk about it. Let's come to an understanding. That's going to be a great deal of benefit for not only your children to understand and accept this new man that's in your life, but it's also going to help this man to be able to ingratiate himself with your children because you helped that process. And so, but just for the men, guys, if this is something that turns you off, if her having children, or I understand if you feel like, hey man, after a certain point, I can't do it. Honesty, I can respect that. Even if to some people it may be distasteful, it may turn them off. As a man, I respect that, bro. Like, just say it. Let it be free. The Bible says the truth will make you free. Let that come out so that you can be free of that anxiety or that, those feelings that you pinning inside of you. I respect a man that says, hey man, after 3-4 kids, like, and then I already got, 1 or 2 children like myself, like, that's a lot of responsibility. And I don't want for my children outside of my house to have less, and or the children within the house to have less. So I'm not going to take on that responsibility. Totally 100% respect that. But at the same time, if you just looking at it like, well, she's got kids, so I ain't doing it. Like, to me, that's foul. You know what I mean? You can do better than that. And ultimately, there may be benefit to that situation that you just not seeing. And so all I'm saying is what can make a good man undateable to a quality woman? These are 5 reasons. Just to recap: no stable income source. Number 2, having a king of the castle mentality without earning it. Selfishness is number 3. Number 4, selfishness in the bedroom. And number 5, her kids are a turn off to you. All right. So if there's anything I miss, I need y'all to put that in the comment section. Let me know how y'all feel. And at the same time, let me know, man, how y'all feel about the 5 that I put out this evening. Because to me, I think that there are certain things that on both sides can make one undateable or unattractive to the other side. And so, like I said, you can go back and check the video about what makes a good woman undateable and go through those things. Tonight, we're just discussing what makes a good man undateable to a quality woman, because I do think that there are things that could throw a wrench in the program and, throw things off kilter. Once a connection is built, then these things start to rear their ugly head, and all of a sudden it's like, see, dang. Sometimes you think, how can you make it work? Sometimes it just can't be worked out because these things make a person undateable. So let me know how y'all feel. All right. Okay, so I got my relationship healing shirt on right here. Y'all, you got to do a search relationshiphhealing.co, not .com, .co. All right, when it comes to searching out the website, I have a Inside a Man's Mind masterclass I'm about to launch here very soon. Listen, we stay working, man. We stay grinding. The grind don't stop. You can't shine if you don't grind. And at the end of the day, I'm looking to just help you guys out, both men and women, and ultimately be of service to you. And if you need help or you need assistance in your situation, you can call me. You can reach out to me. You can set up a free consultation. I do that before I do any coaching sessions, because what we need to figure out is if I'm a good fit for you, and if you're a good fit for me as well as a client. I'm not able to, rectify any and everything. So, yeah, we need to have a conversation and talk about your situation before we move forward and see if this is something that we feel like we can work through together, and we can ultimately help you heal and help you be made whole for that next relationship. All right. So that's one way that you can tap in. Also, I have my book, Come and Talk to Me, The Women's Guide to Why Men Don't Communicate. That is a great service to women that want to know why you feel like you meet a man's representative, or why a man may shut down his communication when it comes to your relationship, and you can find your answers in that book, Come and Talk to Me, The Women's Guide to Why Men Don't Communicate. That's also on the website. Okay. Also, I have merch, smart merch with the QR code on the back that you can scan and always stay locked in and tapped into anything that's going on with the Male Translations podcast or the relationship healing movement. And, they got a little bit of style to them as well. So you can check those out on the website. Everything that I mentioned and more is on the website. Please stop by there on your way out, or just, tomorrow or the next day. Relationshiphealing.co. There's so many things of value that can help you improve your dating situations, because we all go through the same thing. We just handle it differently. And this is why I created Relationship Healing, because I recognize that so many people within relationships need healing, and so many people between relationships need that healing. So please tap in. It's not for me. It's actually for you. So if you want to make a move that's going to change your life, all you got to do is type in relationshiphealing.co, and that's where the journey will start for you, okay? So I'm out for tonight. It's your main man, Clarence Brown, certified life coach and relationship coach. This is the Male Translations Podcast. Like I say, we break down the difference of what men say and women hear, give men a voice, give women insight on relationships, and we are the men's voice when it comes to relationships. Leave me a comment in that comment section. We're going to get to it and chop it up, and I'll see you till next time. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay blessed, and I'll see you again. All right? Peace. Which is more damaging, ghosting a person or letting them know, hey, listen, you're just not what I'm looking for right now?
Letting them know. So you really done, like really.